Okay, this is I'm done redoing this. So it has been about a month since I've started a part-time job for an overnight position at a real-world JoJo Mart. And my latest realization, after the first paycheck, my motivation for developing the game has lessened. I've got a funny feeling that if I'm not careful, that I will get comfy with this paycheck, and then I'll just try to cope with that kind of job. I vaguely remember something like this happening last time with my office job. However, unlike the last job, I don't really have the luxury of working on my stuff when it's not busy. I'm hoping that inconveniences and annoyances like that keep me going on finishing this game. Writing this out, it kind of comes to me that I've been gaining a lot of my motivation from how dissatisfied I was with my environment, and honestly, I'm not sure how to feel about that. But before we keep going, I just want to talk a little bit about the game I'm talking about. Uh, this game is called Big Beetle Bros Adventure, and I had originally made it to be for VR, but I'm just having so much trouble developing a game for VR in such a long time span that things keep changing before I get to finish. I don't know. It's it's a bit of a hassle, so I switched it to a flat screen Godot game, and I'm just blazing through progress, and that's what we're just gonna do from now on. Also, I've been wanting to make devlogs for this game, but I always end up making or planning the intro for the devlog series, and that always just takes the wind out of my sails. So I'm just gonna start talking about where I am in development and how that's going, and then just start from there. I can't keep starting and stopping like devlogs. One thing that's helped a lot with keeping track of progress and just for making these devlogs as well, because I don't remember everything that happens, is having a notes.txt in the project of the game, and then just outlining the things that I did day by day or almost even hour by hour to track everything. So yeah, if you don't do that, I suggest you try doing something like that. So at this stage in the game, I'm building out the essential systems to get an MVP or a demo out where the player can do all the things intended from the game design document. Quick example of what that's like is in Castlevania Symphony of the Night, the player starts with a maxed out character that has most or all of his abilities, and I'm trying to get the player object to that point so that the next order of business after that is just gating and locking the abilities around the world, as opposed to building out every feature as I go or figure out the game. Also, I'm kind of worried that the footage isn't going to be very enticing or interesting, because I've been purposely trying to stay away from the environment building and prop asset making to not fall into the pitfalls of burning out on making assets that I'll eventually be needing to change later anyway. Anyway, a little distraction. Recently, I've been was distracted with purchasing a little retro handheld device that I keep getting ads for to play Pico 8 games on, and after much shopping, I've landed on the Miu Mini Plus for its support and somewhat large community. It's been pretty cozy, and it gets my embedded systems brain going. I love, not the Miu Mini specifically, but in general, any operating system, from official stuff on consoles like the DS1 to custom firmware, the PSP. It's always fascinated me. I play the thing really during my 15-minute breaks or when I can, and it beats doom scrolling for sure. The only issue now is that I want to get into being able to build and develop games that can be played by such little devices. I think I might be going the Love 2D Lutra route, or maybe a game framework for an older console, so that I can just spit out a ROM and then anyone can play on any emulator device. Anyway, like I said, it was a side distraction. But yeah, overnight shifts, right? It's crazy because it makes me feel like I only have 4 hours to myself, even though when I had day shifts, it's essentially the same thing. At least now all the stores are open when I'm not working. But yeah, progress on the games when I am working on it has to be intentional, or at the very least, it has to be like a surefire step that this is a step that will get me towards to finishing the game. It reminds me of the developer from the first tree, David Whale, I think is this how you pronounce it. In one of his talks, he explains that something he's asked a lot is like with a family and a job, how he managed to release like a game by himself. And what stuck to me was essentially his answer of like, if there was an extra 30 minutes or an hour, he'd just spend it like working on the game, like even if it was like in the dead of the night and it was just 15 minutes or whatever. And sometimes that would just be it for like the whole day. And yep. In conclusion, I want to release this Beetle game by like the end of August or something. And that's just like that's just me spitballing. Like by August, I want to be done with this. And I'm thinking that by working on all the lower game engine stuff like mechanics and rules first, you know, like the foundation, to be able to pay and then be able to pay like other talented folk to make assets, hopefully to speed up the polishing phase. Like that's the plan. And I want to make like the last video I made, it was how I reimagined Metroid in VR. I want to try making that kind of video again, but like this one is like almost a spitting image clone or reimagining of Zelda 2 from the NES. So I'm thinking of making a video like that since it got me a couple views with it. And then just release it on Steam or something. I don't know. That's the plan. Anyway, more specifically, next up for me to do is to implement the battle scene boards in a way that it picks it from a random set for the certain biome type of board. Extra credit if the board can create like more... Oh my god. What the... Basically the way Zelda 2 randomizes picking which screen you're on when you collide with an overworld enemy. Until the next video.